Welcome to Constant Time, the only watch YouTube channel that the presenter doesn't wear any watch and doesn't do a wristwatch check. Everybody else do it. I'm not gonna do it. Many of you commented in the comments saying that how come you're not even wearing a watch, talking about watches. That's my whole point. I'm tired of everyone doing the same thing. So I talked about Omega, Rolex, and Breitling before, saying all the negatives that I think they have, and many of you disagree with my comments and think that I'm just hating on these brands, and I'm not. I own Breitling, I have my name on the Rolex, and I aspire to get an Omega soon, so I don't know why you think that. It's not true. So to prove you that, I have today something that I hope I clean my name with and have 5 positive points for all these brands. Let's see how this goes. I'm gonna start with Omega. Omega has the longest and coolest history. I'm gonna have 5 points for each, by the way. Longest and coolest history, from the Moonwatch all the way down to how long that history is. Omega was the watch, along with Longines, was the watch to have in the first half of the 20th century. Omega was 50, 60 years old by the time Rolex was created, and it was the watch to have. So kudos to them. True history, amazing history. I just love it. Now, in-house movements. Yes, they're not greatly decorated except for the part that you see in the case backs. If you open them, they're not really decorated, but they're excellent. They're excellent movements. Very well proven. They have the coaxial escapement that apparently does something that's really cool. And on top of that, it's even if ETA makes parts or all of their movements, they're specially made for Omega. So kudos to them. Amazing, amazing, excellent watches. I know many people that own them and love them. Just like Rolex, the real solid gold. If you see, especially a few years ago, like watches that are older than 15 years, they were doing what Tudor is doing, which is like cladding a core of steel with gold, and they used to call that gold watch. That's not how things are right now. They are really solid gold links. So if you get a two-tone Speedmaster, for example, and I saw the other day one for $6,500 on eBay. What an amazing watch to have. A broadhead arrow Speedmaster two-tone for $6,500. Doesn't get better than that. Now they have a timeless design starting from the Speedmaster that stayed exactly the same all the way to the Seamaster that started as a dress watch and start becoming more sports watch during the 90s, especially with the Bond era. They are timeless. But unlike other watch brands, Rolex, they do many interesting things, like the Ploprof. The Ploprof is just, I don't know if I would ever buy it. If I had the money, I would certainly buy it if I had excess money. But it's certainly something that you don't see every day, and that's a real conversation starter right there. And they do that a lot, so kudos to them. Last but not least, bang for buck. Tell me another watch brand with such a long, incredible history, true history, with that kind of quality that you can get for $5,000 all day long to under. Like I've seen lately, Aquaterras, anywhere from 3,000. I'm talking current, exactly the previous generation. 3,000 to 3,500 Aquaterras, and that's the Datejust equivalent of Omega, which is just incredible. So, incredible price. Now, Breitling, true aviation chrono history. They basically were among the first brands, the first 3 brands. It was Hamilton, Breitling, I think Tag Heuer. They did the first mechanical chronographs, and they are the first that pioneered the 2-button, what you know as chrono nowadays, that you press on the top to start the chrono, press again to stop it. press the one under to zero. That is a Breitling innovation. Back in the day, there were mono pushers, and then you had to like click to stop, and then click to go back to zero. So you couldn't restart a lap. That was the big innovation there. And the first tickets, speeding tickets, were given using Breitling watches. That's how reliable they were. And of course, I'm not even gonna talk about things like the Navi timer. That's just over the top for me. I just love them. Well, I think they're beautiful, in my opinion. That's my opinion. And they're very distinct. They are not copying anyone. Omega. Breitling is a Breitling. You can see it from a mile away because of its size partly, but because of the design. What an amazing, distinct design Breitling has. All of their lines, from the Avengers to the Avenger, to Navi timer, to the Chronomat. Incredible watches, very, very Breitling. You can mess them up. You can't confuse them with anything else. It's just incredible. And that is something intangible that I find in a luxury world being extremely important. Extremely important. I pay for uniqueness. They're excellent quality. If you ever handle a Breitling, you know that anything from the case, the crown, the pushers, the back of the case, the bracelets, not so much in the past. They got a whole lot better, and I think there's room for improvement there, but they're not bad in any way. Down to the movement, I'm not even gonna touch on the in-house movements, the B01s, the B35s, the B55. Yes, there's more than the B01. It's alterations of that, the B01. I know I had an argument with one of you telling me that the B35 is not an in-house, blah, blah, it's ETA based. That's BS. Again, I talked about it. I touched on this subject before. It's a 36 millimeter movement. The ETAs are 26. That alone tells you that it's not the same. And on top of that, it has 70 hours of power reserve. So even if some elements of architecture might be the same, it's not the same. So here's that. So even the ETA movements that they have, they decorate, and they're all chronograph certified. So they're all chronographs. Incredible. Now the crystals, if you ever handle a Breitling watch, you think that it doesn't have one. I had people, and this is a true story, trying to touch my watch to see if there's a crystal there, because they couldn't believe how good the anti-reflective treatment is. It's on top, it's on the bottom. I know that many people say that the top is unnecessary because it scratches. I have my watch for a year and a half now. Wear it every day or every other day. Most of the weeks I wear it. So it doesn't have any scratches on it. Nothing. Zero. So it's don't hear what they say. It's just incredible. Unless you abuse it, of course. They're even better bang per buck than Omega. And that's big. If you buy a used and especially a little older Breitling, you know that you can get one for sometimes even under $2,000, but around $2,000-$3,000. You can get some incredible watches. Even around the $3,000 mark, Navi timers. That's a legend watch for $3,000. That's like top up there with anything else. The Moon watch, the Daytona, whatever you want to say, it's up there, and it's around $3,000. I don't think there's a better bang for buck watch than a Breitling used. If it's your cup of tea, because we're talking older watches and those were bigger, they're a little more flashy. So that's if that fills your cup. And let's go down to Rolex. Name recognition. Immediately, that's the elephant in the room. Name recognition. Everybody that I know aspires to get a Rolex. They use it as a testament of success, sometimes in a flashy way to show off, sometimes just to get something that is worth it in their mind. And there's a sense of accomplishment when you buy a Rolex. And I agree with that. I trashed Rolex in the previous video, but I can tell you I have my name for a Rolex, a GMT2, the Sprite version. So yeah, I mean, I love them. I love them. They're beautiful, and I think that their name recognition has something to do with it. They're excellent quality down to the movement. I talked about movements before. Movements in Rolex, yes, they're machine finished, but they're finished. If you take it apart, if you ever see an online video how they take them apart and they service them, you can see that there's engine turning in every bridge, in all the plates, and that must count for something. And yeah, I mean, they were the first to use solid gold on everything, even the hands. So quality is up there, really. I mean, it's the best. I think it's the best quality that you can get when you know you're buying something that's mass produced. So that's the best. It's a simple lineup, so people like us don't get confused, because who buys watches? Guys. And if you give us too many options, then we're getting lost. I know I'm getting lost. So I want to know there's this line, this line, this line, and this colors, and that's it. That's it. And that I love, which makes it timeless. You can find a Datejust from the 60s and a Datejust from today. And if you don't know, you think it's from today. Like, unless you know the sizes and the intricacies of how the case beefed up a little bit and this and that, it's basically the same design. And that is incredible. That's why you can't find them for, like, you see Rolexes from the 60s selling for around $4,000 for a steel model. Like, that's just incredible value retention. It's crazy. And that's a different point I'm going to touch later. Now, history is a little gray area here. They claim many first, as I talked to the other video. I don't think they're first. There are many cases where that is an exaggeration, but they're certainly the best. And they're the best because of their quality and the way they promote themselves. Most people think nowadays, when they talk about a diver's watch, they're thinking of a Submariner. That's the first watch comes to mind. Unless you're a watch geek, and maybe the Blancpain 50 Fathoms will come to mind. But can I ask you something? Even you that know this fact, would you buy the Blancpain over the Submariner? I wouldn't. You can tell me it's better quality. You can tell me whatever. I don't like it enough to buy it. I think actually it's kind of ugly. And I don't care. I don't care about Blancpain. Blancpain was nothing until they opened it again with nothing, and they started like making watches again. So big story. That's another video by itself. So they're not the first, but they're certainly the best. And the last is what I touched on before, and it's value retention and liquidity. Liquidation. You can buy a Rolex, sell it many years down the line. If you don't make money, you will make the same or slightly less. That alone is huge. And I know that as watch collectors, watch lovers, we don't like talking about this subject, but it's a big deal. If you ever sold watches, even just to buy other watches, you know, release some funds and buy another watch, you know how important it is to get a decent price for your watch. And Rolex is almost a guarantee for that, especially if you buy used and if you buy it at a good price. My God, like my wife's Datejust is probably not going to go any lower than what I bought it for. So that alone is crazy. And that's all for today, guys. 5 points for each watch brand. Which one do you agree? Which ones do you disagree? And if you have any more, please let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next one, ciao.